Game 2 of the 2025 Division III Showcase, D3 Showcase here at Atrium Ballpark in Kannapolis, North Carolina. It's an old matchup that's happened many times before here at this ballpark. It's the Washington Lee Generals out of the great state of Virginia against the Susquehanna Riverhawks out of the great state of Pennsylvania. Hi, good friends. Dan Haloti on the call for you today here on the Kannapolis Cannonballers YouTube stream. Pleasure to have you join us today for this D3 action here in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Susquehanna designated as the home team in this matchup. Washington and Lee in the gray tops, gray pants. Susquehanna going with the maroon tops with the white pinstripes, and it's the same on the bottoms. Maroon with the white pinstripes. It's a sharp look as we're about set and ready to go for some baseball here on this Friday afternoon, a chilly Friday afternoon, as Jonathan French, the first batter, digs in. First pitch delivered here at 2:36. It's a called strike from the righty in Jack Greco. Again, 2:36 is your first pitch time. Sit back, relax, grab a cold drink and a snack, and enjoy some baseball here in Kannapolis. So one on the way to Jonathan French, just a touch inside from Jack Greco, and the count is 1-1. Greco takes in the action as the starter today for Susquehanna. 6'2" senior from Berkeley Heights, New Jersey is the righty. 1-1 to French is a touch inside for now a 2-1 count on Washington and Lee's center fielder. Jonathan French, a sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, product of North Atlanta High School, is Jonathan French. Greco in, getting the start for Susquehanna. 2-1 in there for a called strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Washington and Lee center fielder Jonathan French. Campbell Charnecko and Paul Ramseur, the 3-2 up here for Washington and Lee to start today's ball game. 2-2. Just a bit low, didn't miss by much. Greco thought he had the lower part of the zone. Instead, it's a full count on Jonathan French. Jack Greco, the starting arm, a business management major in his 4th season now with Susquehanna. 3-2. This one line back up the middle, snagged by Greco, and out number 1 is had. A great play on the bump by Greco, and he makes the snag for out number 1 on what is an L1 for the first out of the game. Campbell Charnecko, the catcher, and one of the 2 captains for Washington and Lee, will dig in. Campbell Charnecko, the senior from Clifton, Virginia, Centerville High School product, 6'2", is the righty bat. Greco's first pitch. Touch inside for ball 1 on a Campbell Charnecko. Greco last year, just 6 appearances for Susquehanna. 0-0 with a 13.50 ERA as Charnecko lines this one into left center, base hit. And the first hit of the game is had for Washington and Lee. It's a line drive single into left center from Campbell Charnecko, one of the offensive leaders of this Generals offense. So now 1 on and 1 out. Paul Ramseur, the batter. Paul Ramseur, another guy that has produced a lot of offense for this Washington and Lee side. He hadn't been batting in the top of the order in the leadoff spot a lot in last year's action. Now slides down into that 3 spot. First pitch on the way, a touch outside from Greco, and the count is 1-0. Ramseur batting third, Nick Lagis. Shortstop bats in the cleanup spot. Andrew Thornton at third base bats 5th. John Turner, left fielder, bats 6th. Michael Carpenter, first baseman, bats 7th. Ramseur looks at the 1-0. It's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Sam Chase in right field bats 8th. Batting 9th is Preston Larmore, second baseman for Washington and Lee under the leadership in his 8th season of head coach Ted White. 2-0 from Greco. Low and inside. Ramseur takes a peek at it. 3-0. Yet a very sunny day in Kannapolis. Not a cloud in the sky, but it is quite chilly. In the mid-30s pretty much all day. Got as low as about 18 degrees here this morning. 3-0, low and inside, a 4-pitch walk, And Greco now has to deal with 2 on as Ramsor takes the free pass. Charnecko up to second after the single. And now Ramsor's walk puts 2 on, 1 out. Shortstop Nick Lagis due up for the Generals. Left to right in the outfield today for Susquehanna, Ayers, Hayduke, and Himaleski for the Riverhawks. Rossi at third base will touch on him in the bottom half of the first. Cagliardi, Shenman, and Healy in the infield for Susquehanna. First pitch strike for Nick Lagis. It's a 0-1 count. Behind the dish for Jack Greco is Arrigo for Susquehanna. 0-1 your count, still 1 down. Greco's offering. Just a bit low, didn't miss by much. Nick Lagis looks in it for a 1-1 count. Lagis, a junior from Chicago, Illinois. Digging in against Greco, who's throwing pretty hard today, upper 80s on the fastball. This one skips by the catcher in Arrigo, and that'll move the runners up on a wild pitch as Greco tried to stretch the zone a little bit too wide, and it gets by the catcher. That'll move the runners up. Charnecko to third, Ramsor to second. So now no force out, no double play ball in effect. 1 down and 2 in scoring position. Susquehanna in some trouble with backs against the wall here in this top of the first. Again, this is the middle game of a trio for day 1. 2-1. Inside and a hit Lagis on the leg. And in one area that's not great in the sense of you do load the bases, but in another area it's not bad. Now that sets up bases loaded with 1 out for Andrew Thornton. But if you're Susquehanna, that now puts the runner at first and sets up the force at any base. So despite being backs against the wall early, Susquehanna has a way to get out of this. Andrew Thornton digs in with bases juiced and 1 out. Thornton from Houston, Texas. Sophomore for Washington and Lee University out of Virginia. Greco in some early trouble, looking to get out of the jam early for the Riverhawks. So this first pitch, ground ball through into the left, base hit. Lead runner in Charnecko scores. Ramsor is held at third. RBI single for Andrew Thornton. And Washington and Lee is struck first here today. A station base hit for Andrew Thornton produces the RBI. And now Washington and Lee has scored the first game's run on the board. So 1-0 Washington and Lee. And now with 2 on and 1 out, 6th batter of the inning and John Turner due up. So the Generals strike first. An RBI single for Andrew Thornton. Produces that run here early. Thornton with his first RBI of the year. Again, this is the first game of action for both sides here in 2025. That first game we had today with Pfeiffer and Piedmont, it was already their 4th game each. But this is the season opener for both sides with Washington and Lee and Susquehanna. John Turner digs in, 2 on, 1 out. First pitch from Greco. Inside, didn't miss by much, 1-0. Ramsor at third. Lagis at second. Thornton is at first. 1-1. Inside corner. Zone is caught. 2 balls and a strike now. John Turner digging in for his first at-bat, a left fielder in the board today from Marietta, Georgia. Check swing, and he gets a piece of it, lifted high and foul. Count moves to 1-2. First baseman Michael Carpenter waiting on deck for Washington and Lee. Again, gray tops, gray pants. Going with the matte blue batting helmets. 1-2 pitch. Fastball outside corner, ring him up, got him looking, called strike 3. And Greco has his first punch out of the day against John Turner, staring at an outside corner fastball. 2 outs now on the board, still bases juiced. And Michael Carpenter, first baseman is due up for the Generals. Mike Carpenter at first base. Stands in, and he swings first pitch, tapped towards second. Played by Shenman, on to first he goes, and to a knee goes Healy, but catch made for the third out. And there's the final out of this top of the first, but damage done. Washington and Lee strikes first, an RBI single from Andrew Thornton. Makes it 2 hits, 1 run, no errors, and they do leave a couple on to the Generals. Bottom one we go, and it'll be the Riverhawks to bat. Rossi, Ayers, and Gagliardi when we come back here in the Ballers Baseball Network live in Kannapolis. Well, Washington and Lee strikes first here in the top of the first inning. We go bottom one. Tony Rossi, the batter for Susquehanna. And the arm on the bump is John Benner, the righty for Washington and Lee. As we are set to go bottom first, we go. First pitch, a swing and a foul tip into the mid of the catcher, Chardeco. 0-1 on the leadoff batter, Susquehanna's third baseman in Tony Rossi, a Rawlings All-American. Last season, he batted over 400. Swings at the 0-1, a ground ball to short. Lagas on to first in time for the out. 6-3 ground out, and Rossi is sat down for the first out of this bottom of the first. One out now, and Owen Ayers, the batter for the Susquehanna Riverhawks, against John Benner, the senior righty from McLean, Virginia. 6 foot, 190 pounds. He has pitched in portions of 3 seasons here with Washington and Lee. Last year, 3-4 with a 7.27 ERA. Just a touch low on the first pitch for ball one on Owen Ayers. Michael Gagliardi is the batter on deck for Susquehanna. Benner digs and fires his 1-0. It finds the zone for now a 1-1 count. So a ball and a strike to Owen Ayers, the left fielder. Benner has seen the mound a couple of times each season. 1-1 fouled off, 1-2. 11 appearances in 2022, 2023, and 2024. All 3 years, 11 appearances, at least 10 starts. He had 1 complete game in his freshman year for Washington and Lee. Ball and 2 strikes, the wine and the fire. Breaking ball, just a touch upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Benner had 43 1/3 innings. And last season's action for the Generals, just 33 strikeouts, not a huge strikeout guy. 2-2, pitch on the way is low and inside. Ayers almost got hit with it. Instead, he's able to get out of the way for what is now a full count at 3-2. Gagliardi, the shortstop, is on deck. Dylan Hayduke, center fielder, bats fourth in the cleanup spot. Full count, payoff pitch. Ground ball to the third baseman. Under the glove of Thornton, it gets through into foul territory, and that will be likely an error on the third baseman, Thornton. So Susquehanna has their first base runner of the day. It'll be an E5 given to Andrew Thornton. So one out, and now a runner on for Gagliardi. Error awarded to the third baseman, Thornton. 1 on, 1 out. Benner's pitch on the way. This one swung on, fouled off, and the count works to 0-1. Looks as if our official scorer did give it an error just for confirmation. 0-1 count. Gagliardi, pitch on the way, low and inside, blocked by the catcher Charnecko. 1-1. Hayduke is on deck. The center fielder Jack Cahill, DH, bats fifth. CJ Orego, the catcher, bats sixth. Tyler Himaleski, right fielder, seventh. Batting eighth is Joe Healy, the first baseman. And batting ninth, the second baseman, and Griffin Shenman for the Susquehanna Riverhawks. In the field for Washington and Lee, Turner, French, and Chase left to right in the outfield. In the infield, Thornton, Lagus, Larmore, and Carpenter. Charnecko is behind the dish for Washington and Lee. 1-1 count. Check on the runner at first, not in time. One, up and in, ball two. Didn't miss by much. Benner in his first appearance of the year. Looking to get a good start to his campaign as senior year at Washington and Lee. John Benner, an economics major up at Washington and Lee, as Gagliardi flies this one into right center. Drifting over is French on his horse. Can't find the ball. It falls in the right center field. Headed for third is Ayers. To second goes Gagliardi. It'll be a base hit for Susquehanna. And now they have 2 on in scoring position, and what it is going to be a double for Michael Gagliardi. Again, not a situation where you can really give an error on that play. It is in the right center. French just couldn't find the ball in the sun. So now 2 on and 1 out still for Dylan Hayduke. Hayduke, the center fielder. 2 up here for Susquehanna. Junior from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Listed at 5'8" and 155 pounds. First pitch from Benner to Hayduke, low and inside for ball 1. Washington and Lee, as we've talked about, gray tops, gray pants. Their main colors are blue and white. They do have the all gray caps. The blue WL logo on the front of the cap. 1-0. This one fouled off, and the count evens at 1-1. Not often you see the all gray caps look. It's sharp though. Can't hate on it too much at all. Susquehanna going very strong maroon for today's matchup with the white pinstripes. Gotta admit, the uniforms here at the D3 Showcase so far have impressed. Ball and a strike, pitch to Hayduke. Swing and a miss, breaking ball got him chasing. It's 1-2. Benner in some trouble early, as was Greco for Susquehanna. Riverhawks, though, threatening early to match the energy of Washington and Lee. Pitch delivered low and inside for now. It'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes on Dylan Hayduke. Junior from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Bats left-handed, with Jack Cahill awaiting on deck. 2-2. Swinging a hard line drive foul down the right field line. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hayduke listed as an infielder in the roster, playing center field today for head coach Denny Bowers in his 20th year at Susquehanna. Assistant coaches Vinny Morelli, Josh Knight, and Troy Allen for the Susquehanna Riverhawks. 2-2 in the dirt, blocked by Charnecko. Count runs full now on Hayduke. And Washington and Lee left 3 runners on base in that top of the first. And bases juiced. Could only manufacture the 1 run though. Full count with 1 out. Benner set. Pitch delivered. So another foul ball. 13 pitches is it for Benner at the moment. We'll see another one at 3-2 for Hayduke. And what's been a pretty long at-bat. 2 on, 1 out. Benner from the stretch. Pitch delivered. Weakly tapped foul down the first base line. And this battle just keeps on moving along. The long AB getting longer here. Benner set, looking in, full count, payoff pitch in the dirt, ball 4, and bases will be loaded for the Susquehanna Riverhawks as the first walk of the game for Susquehanna is manufactured by Dylan Hayduke. Draws the free pass, so bases loaded, and still just 1 out for Jack Cahill. Cahill stands in, the designated hitter. Junior from New City, New York. 6'4" righty bat. Bases loaded for Susquehanna. First pitch delivered. Big swing, big miss. 0-1. Benner's pitch count up to now 21. Here early on, he's at well over 20 pitches in this first inning of action. Workhorse keeps working. 0-1. Just a touch outside, didn't miss by much. Cahill thought about it, did not go around. Count evens 1-1. And game 2 of 9 this weekend in the Division III Showcase. Free baseball at Atrium Health Ballpark all weekend. 1-1 outside corner. 1-2 now on Jack Cahill. Cahill will move his grip up the bat. Squeezes up. 1-2. Swinging a foul tip. Charnecko almost able to hold on to it. Cahill chokes up, and he'll have another one at 1-2. Cahill with a bold move of no batting gloves on this absolutely frigid day here in Kannapolis. No batting gloves and a metal bat. That spells owie in the hands. Ball and 2 strikes with 1 out, bottom of the first. 1-0 Washington and Lee. Benner set, bases loaded. 1-2. In the dirt, Charnecko blocks again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, an error allowing Owen Ayers to reach. He's up at third. Second is Gagliardi, who doubled, and then a walk for Hayduke. 2-2. Oh, and outside for ball 3. So now, Cahill, who was down in the count early, has worked his way back. The count is now full. Full count, 1 out. Big spot here for Susquehanna. Benner's pitch. Oh, an outside ball 4. And the Riverhawks have walked the run in as Benner, with a back-to-back walks after an error and a double, has allowed a run to cross. It is now 1-1 here in Kannapolis. Ayers crosses the plate. Gagliardi to third. Hayduke up to second. And Jack Cahill with the bases loaded walk makes it 1-1 early here at Atrium Health Ballpark. Orrego, the catcher, digs in. Bases loaded and still just 1 out. So Cahill is the second walk of the inning for John Benner. Benner gets a visit from Charneco. Now Orrego digs in, 6th batter of the inning. First pitch, inside corner for strike 1 on a fastball at about 87 miles an hour. CJ Orrego, the catcher from Wayne, New Jersey. 0-1, swung on, fouled off, straight back, 0-2. CJ Orrego, a sophomore catcher for Susquehanna. Appeared in 17 games last year, had just 3 hits. This one outside for a ball, 1-2. He started 9 games, appeared in 17, drew 8 walks in that time, so a guy that has shown he can be patient at the plate. 1-2. Inside, cornering him up, got him looking, called strike 3. First punch out of the day for John Benner. He gets Orrego looking at strike 3. There's out number 2 of the inning. And now still bases loaded. Tyler Himaleski, right fielder, 2 up. Himaleski, the senior from Toms River, New Jersey. Product of Donovan Catholic School as he swings first pitch, lift in the air. This should do it for the inning. Under it is the second baseman, Larmore. Under it makes the catch for the out. Had to fight the afternoon sun, but catch made for out number 3. So 3 runners left stranded for Susquehanna. They do get 1 run. It is unearned. And they do get a base hit in there as well. 1 error and 3 left on. To the second we go. 8-9-1. Chase, Larmore, and French 2 up for Washington and Lee. When we come back, here on the Ballers YouTube stream, the Ballers Baseball Network. Sam Chase leads it off for the Washington and Lee Generals. Top of the second, a 1-1 ball game. Both sides able to break through here early on. as both pitchers tested early. Greco already with 22 pitches on his day. Offers the first pitch to Chase. It's inside for ball one on the Washington and Lee right fielder. Larmore and Jonathan French to follow for Washington and Lee. 1-0 from Greco. Just a touch off the plate for now a 2-0 count. Greco has faced 7 batters. 22 pitches, 1 fly out, 1 ground out, 1 strikeout. 2 hits, 1 walk in that first inning. 2-0 to Chase off the plate for ball 3. Sam Chase, a freshman from Houston, Texas. Greco's 3-0. Off the plate, ball 4. 4-pitch walk. Already another free pass issued. Second walk of the day for Greco. And in this first AB, Chase is on. So 1 on and nobody out. 2 up is an 9-0 batter, Preston Larmore. So Preston Larmore stands in for Washington and Lee. Junior, who's a two-way guy, pitcher and infielder from Atlanta, Georgia. He's a double major at Washington and Lee. First pitch off the plate for ball 1. He majors in accounting and European and Russian history. 2 wildly different topics. And there's got to be a lot to balance. Time called by the home plate umpire, and Greco has to wait before offering the next pitch. One-0 count with nobody out. Pitch on the way is upstairs for ball 2. Two-0 pitch is upstairs from Greco for ball 3. So 7 pitches in this inning for Greco, and he hasn't found the zone yet. His velocity is there, but definitely struggling to find the zone. 3-0 pitch to Larmore. Fastball touches the zone. It's the old broadcaster's curse as he finds the zone. Therefore now a 3-1 count. Larmore, as mentioned, double major, but he's been a scholar athlete and actually was named to the academic All-ODAC list last year. Draws a walk here in the 3-1, so ball 4. Third walk of the day for Greco. And now 2 on for Washington and Lee, with a leadoff batter, Jonathan French, 2 up. So 3 walks, 1 strikeout for Greco here early on. Sandstrom struggles finding the zone here in this second inning. Jonathan French, the sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, plays a bunt down, first pitch. Greco fields, covered by the second baseman, and the tag applied at first for the out. It'll be a 1-4 put out at the first base bag. It'll be a sac bunt by French. 1-4 on the sacrifice. He is the first out of the inning. It does move the runners up, though. Chase to third, and up to second is Preston Larmore. So runners at second and third, 1 down, and Campbell Charnecko digging in. First pitch to Charnecko, just a touch off the plate for ball 1. As a check swing, a check on the opinion of the infield umpire. No, Charnecko did not go. Runner at third is Chase. Larmore is at second, 1-0. Breaking ball catches the corner. 1-1. Ball and a strike. Charnecko singled last time up. He looks at the breaking ball, and it's 1-2 after a nice off-speed pitch from Greco. Already back against the wall again here, this time in the second inning. Charnecko standing in a slightly open stance, not by much. 1-2. Swing and a miss at the plate. He struck him out. Breaking ball with a little bit of dip on it from Greco, and Charnecko is the second strikeout victim of the day for the righty Jack Greco. 2 punch-outs on the afternoon. Now 2 outs, 2 on, and Paul Ramseur, the DH, is due up. First pitch to Ramseur is popped up down the left field line. Couple of players out after it. Shortstop Gagliardi fumbles, can't get the catch made. Throw to second after the play made, and he's safe at second. Ramseur in at second base, and what will be a double with 2 RBI as Chase and Larmore both cross the plate. Ramseur popped that up into shallow left. Shortstop Gagliardi couldn't make the play, lost it in the sun, and Washington and Lee has capitalized with a pair of runs on the board. It's 3-1 in this top of the second. 2 runs cross the plate, 1 runner on, and it's Nick Lagas 2 up. So credit for the double goes to Ramseur. He's walked and doubled now. He's already been a pest for Susquehanna. First pitch swing and a ground ball past shortstop Gagliardi in the left. Ramseur's held at third, and back to first goes Lagas. Back-to-back base hits for the Generals, who are taking charge here in this top of the second. A pair of walks, a double, and a single for those Washington and Lee Generals. And now the 7th batter of the inning, Andrew Thornton, digs in for Washington and Lee. He had the RBI single back in the first. Greco having some difficulty getting out of this top of the second. First pitch with runners on the corners, just a touch outside for ball 1. Again, Thornton had the RBI single. Lagas has reached base both times he's stepped to the dish today, as has Ramseur. Greco from the stretch, runner goes. 1-0 is outside. Snap throw to second is high. That'll get into center. Ramseur crosses the plate. Up to third will go Lagas. So it'll be a stolen base for Lagas, and then he'll head to third on what is the E2. Ramseur will cross the plate as well on that same E2. So an error for the Susquehanna catcher in Arrigo. And now another run crosses the plate, make it 4-1 in favor of Washington and Lee. As now time is called, and it looks like Susquehanna might have some sort of injury or debacle from center field. So it looks like there is going to be an injury substitution as Sam Martucci will head out into the outfield, and it looks like coming in from the outfield is going to be Hayduke. So a replacement center fielder as Hayduke is out and Martucci is in. Martucci will head to right field. Himaleski flips to center. So Himaleski goes from right to center, and Martucci is in right. So a flip-flop made in the defensive switch for Susquehanna. So Himaleski Pitch on the way, swing and a pop-up foul down the line, and ends up in the dugout suite for what is now a 2-1 count. So a 2-1 count now on Andrew Thornton, as Washington and Lee has put up a fight here, and they are continuing to threaten. Pitch on the way, ground ball, diving effort from Rossi, but it's into left field for a base hit. RBI base knock for Andrew Thornton. I've said it once already today, and I'll say it again. Andrew Thornton with the RBI single. Make it now a total of 5-1 for Washington and Lee. Susquehanna giving up some early runs here as Lagus crosses the plate. Andrew Thornton, RBI single, 2 for 2 on the day with a pair of RBI. John Turner, left fielder, stands in for Washington and Lee. Still 2 outs of the inning. Showing bunt, going around on it is John Turner. Strike 1 as Greco tried to stretch the zone. Didn't matter. Turner tried to go around on it. 5 hits on the board for Washington and Lee. 0-1. Line drive in the left, right at Ayers, who is able to make the catch on a couple of steps in. Able to make the grab for that out number 3, and inning complete. 8 batters go to the plate for Washington and Lee. They pick up 4 runs on a multitude of hits. How about 3 of them as the Generals take control here in this second inning? Bottom 2 we go. 8-9-1 for the Riverhawks. Healy, Sherman, and Rossi when we come back here in the Ballers Baseball Network. Fly ball into center field, drifting towards right center, and a collision with 2 outfielders on a fly ball from Joe Healy. Catch made as the 2 outfielders do make contact out there for Washington and Lee. Looks like French and Chase, and it looks like Chase might be injured. He's in some discomfort. As Joe Healy swings at the first pitch and lifts the fly ball on what was the deep fly out into right center, and it looks like Chase is down. French and Chase collide out there in what is, it looks like an F8 for Joe Healy, the first baseman. 9-hole batter due up for Susquehanna, but they're checking on Sam Chase out there in right center field, who is in some discomfort. So we'll see who comes in for Washington and Lee. I'd assume just by taking a peek that I don't think he'll stay in this game. So an injury to the Generals right fielder. game 2 of this D3 showcase. A quick start for both sides. Washington and Lee coming out in that top of the second, though, and coming through with 4 spot on the board. 4 runs in that top of the second on 3 hits. And 3 hits on the board. And 4 runs in that top of the second for Washington and Lee. Chase was one of those runs that crossed the plate after reaching on a leadoff walk against Greco. John Benner on the bump for Washington and Lee still. So they're out there checking. Still on Sam Chase. Griffin Shenman is the batter due up for Susquehanna. So now Chase up to his feet. And looks to be getting some help in from the outfield. Washington and Lee will have a replacement go in as Chase is in some discomfort. Looks like Nathan DeWitt will step in and take over right field for Washington and Lee. Nathan DeWitt, a two-way player, sophomore from Alexandria, Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. As Benner tossing a couple warm-up pitches. Chasing some discomfort. He'll get helped off on the gator by our head groundskeeper Tim Siegel, who's out there to give him a hand and get him off the field in a timely manner. And DeWitt will go out to right field. So DeWitt will take over, and Chase is carted off out there in center field. Looks like we'll be back to playing baseball here momentarily. 9 men, and Griffin Shenman will step in. One down in this bottom of the second. Griffin Shenman will stand in. Sophomore from Rumson, New Jersey. So Griffin Shenman stands in. He'll show bunt, and pull it back, doesn't matter. Called first strike from the righty and Benner. Benner's looked pretty solid, has only allowed the 1 run in that bottom of the first. Offers the 0-1. Shenman doesn't show bunt. It's right down Broadway for strike 2. Benner 1 hit, 2 walks, a strikeout in that first inning. He did draw the fly out just now from Joe Healy. 0-2, low and outside, 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes on Griffin Shenman. From the wind, Benner works on the way. Swing and a miss at the plate. He struck him out as Campbell Charnecko found the ball in his mitt. Shenman down on strikes. Another punch out for the righty and John Benner. Second of the day. 2 outs now. And top of the order, Tony Rossi digging in. 2 outs. Rossi stands in. First pitch on the outside corner. Nothing for him to hit. It is 0-1. Tony Rossi, 4th team All-American. Pitch on the way. Finds just a touch outside for ball 1. Beautiful day for baseball here in Kannapolis. Pitch on the way. Rossi just can't find a pitch to hit from Benner. As Benner looks a little low. 2 balls and a strike. Pitch to Rossi. Sharp grounder to third, eaten up by Thornton. Up and a pirouette and a throw in time for the out. Nice play at the hot corner by Thornton. And it's a 1-2-3 frame. They're able to sniff out that play on a grounder from Rossi. And we're through 2 here at Atrium Health Ballpark. It's 5-1 Washington and Lee. We'll be right back after this break on the Ballers Baseball Network and the YouTube stream on Kannapolis Cannonballers' account. Mike Carpenter to bat for the Washington and Lee Generals, 7-8-9 due-up. And the pitch is delivered in there for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 on a Mike Carpenter. In game 2 of this D3 showcase here in Kannapolis. 9 total, 6 different teams all traveling in. This one outside, a 1-1 on Carpenter. Closest trip is Pfeiffer, again, less than an hour down the road. Susquehanna, one of the longer trips. They're in from just west of Philadelphia. 1-1 outside corner, finds the inside corner on Carpenter, 1-2. Carpenter will get the pitch from Greco. This one poked into right, drifting back and reaching. Martucci makes the catch for out number 1. What an effort out there from Martucci, who lays out and makes the grab for out number 1 out in right field. Catch made, and what an effort. Carpenter sat down for out number 1. And Nathan DeWitt is the new batter for Washington and Lee. Martucci getting checked on out there. Again, that sprawling grab down the line in right. Took a bit of a hard fall down there on the warning track. And that warning track Here at Atrium Health Ballpark, it's not actual dirt. It's not anything of that sort. It is quite literally crushed up brick. So you can think of bricks like you build a house or you build one of these wonderful buildings here along the streets of downtown Kannapolis. It is all brick. That is what the warning track is here in Kannapolis. It's crushed brick. So imagine falling into that pretty quickly. And Martucci able to hold on and make the catch for out number 1. Nathan DeWitt stands in. Center fielder in Himaleski is told to get back in his position by home plate umpire here in this top of the third. DeWitt stands in, first at-bat of the day. Entering as a replacement for the injured Chase. This one low in the dirt, blocked by the catcher Arrigo for ball 1. DeWitt from Alexandria, Virginia. 1-0 count with 1 out. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball low and inside. Count works to 2-0. DeWitt entering as the replacement. Gets his first chance at the plate. 2-0 from Greco in the dirt again for ball 3. Nathan DeWitt. .3-0 count with 1 out. Top of the third. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball catches the corner. Pitch on the way from Greco, swing and a miss. DeWitt goes after it. And the count works to now full at 3-2. Preston Larmore, second baseman on deck. Greco's been pretty good today, has allowed a lot of runs, but he's gotten out of some tight spots. Another free pass issued there. So 1 on now for Washington and Lee. Preston Larmore due up. Now Greco has walked 4 batters in this game today. 1 down and a runner on. Larmore due up. He walked in his last at-bat. Swings first pitch, ground to the third. Rossi to second for 1. On to first. Inning-ending double play. A sharp ground ball eaten up by Rossi at the hot corner. And it's a 5-4-3 double play. That sends us into the next half inning. It will be the bottom of the third. A 0 on the board for Washington and Lee. On the 5-4-3 double play. As Larmore's the third out, DeWitt on the 5-4 is out number 2. To the bottom of the third we go, Ayers, Gagliardi, and it'll be Hayduke replaced by Martucci. So Martucci will be that third batter due up next inning. We'll take a break and be right back here in Kannapolis with the Ballers Baseball Network D3 Showcase, game number 2.
Yo, question for you. Do you know if that door that's by gate 2, that door is unlocked or not? Okay. Lauren's going to be here in a little bit. She was just going to come hang out, but up here in the booth. Okay. Okay. I'll just tell her to go to that staff door then and just walk in and get the elevator up. All right. Thanks, bud. Bye-bye.
2-3-4 in the order for the Susquehanna Riverhawks against the righty John Benner, who's been pretty solid today. First pitch of the bottom of the third, in there for a called strike, 0-1 on Owen Ayers, the left fielder. He reached on an error his first time up. Gagliardi and Martucci to follow here in this bottom of the third. Pitch on the way. Benner works the corner, just a little too wide though, and the count is even at 1-1. This one just a touch inside to Ayers, 2-1 on Owen Ayers. Two balls and a strike on Owen Ayers, the left fielder. Gagliardi, Martucci to follow. Benner's pitch. Skied high and foul down the line and left. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Susquehanna's left fielder. Big story so far in this game. Washington and Lee has been able to negate the threat of Tony Rossi, the leadoff batter for Susquehanna. 2-2. In the dirt, Charneco blocks. Count runs full on Owen Ayers. And Tony Rossi, leadoff batter for Susquehanna, an All-American. 4th team All-American at the D3 level. Batted over 400 last year. But he's 0 for 2 today. Full count, payoff pitch. Swinging a foul tip into the middle of the catcher, Charneco. And another strikeout is had, the third of the day for Benner. 1 out now, and he's retired his last 6 batters in a row has Benner. Gagliardi stands in with 1 out on the board, nobody on. So 3 punch-outs for Benner. First pitch to Gagliardi finds the zone, 0-1. Benner sat down 6 batters in a row. The Riverhawks haven't had much action on the base path since the first. Ground ball is short in the 0-1. Played by Lagos onto first, a routine play. And out number 2 is had as Gagliardi is sat down. He is now 1 for 2 on a 6-3 ground out. So 2 outs on the board, nobody on base for Susquehanna. And it's Martucci to dig in for Susquehanna, number 13, Sam Martucci. Senior from Oceanport, New Jersey. As Sam Martucci. First pitch, swinging, and lifts it into right center. Drifting over is French. DeWitt over there as well, but it's French who runs it down deep in the gap and makes the catch for the out. A nice 1-2-3 inning on the bump for John Benner. A strikeout, a ground out, and a fly out induced for 3 batters in a row, sat down by Washington and Lee. We're a third of the way home here in this one. 5-1, the Generals lead over the Riverhawks. We'll be right back on the Ballers Baseball Network live in Kannapolis.
Eli says don't go in through the batting tunnel door. Just walk with the batting tunnel along your right side. Go in at the staff entrance door. That is my law.
Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings for both sides in the third, so we go to the top half of the fourth. Top of the order, Jonathan French due up. First pitch on the inside portions of the plate, just a little too inside, though, from Jack Greco, and the count is 1-0. French at the plate, Charneco and Ramsur to follow here. Top of this fourth, and Washington and Lee with a 5-1 commanding lead. Grounder to third, Rossi eats it up on the edge of the grass. Throw a little wide and a little low, but a catch by Healy at first for the first out. And that is Jonathan French sat down on the 5-3 ground out. One down now, and Campbell Charneco, the catcher, stands in. So Charneco due up, 1 for 2 today, a single and a strikeout. French a line out, sack bunt in the second, and a ground out here in the fourth, so he's 0 for 2. Greco's first pitch is just a touch outside to Campbell Charneco. The count is 1-0. And as mentioned, Charneco a single and a strikeout against Greco today. 1-0 fouled off down the line, ends up in the Washington and Lee dugout, and the count is 1-1. Ball and a strike on Charneco. Greco with one wild pitch today, 5 hits, 4 walks, 3 1/3. He's at over 50 pitches, but no arms warming. This one runs in and hits Charneco. So a hit by pitch puts a runner on for the Generals. They've had a runner on in every inning today, and Greco has been working from the stretch in every inning. Just with the climate of this game, tough to keep runners off. So Paul Ramsur digs in with 1 on and 1 out. Ramsur has been on base both times he stepped in. He walked in the first inning, doubled in the second, ended up coming around to score on an error from Susquehanna. First pitch from Greco to Ramsur, power on power matchup. This one fouled off as Ramsur got a piece of it. The count is 0-1. Ramsur hailing from the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. One of the fixtures of Washington and Lee's roster, a junior, product of Pace High School. The lefty is 6 foot, 185 pounds. Charneco at first, not a huge threat. 0-1 outside corner. Greco paints the corner like a terrible, terrible employee of Sherwin-Williams. We're just kidding. Enjoying a beautiful day for baseball, a chilly day for baseball. 0-2 count, 1 out. Pitch on the way. Just a touch low. Greco trying to find the zone, but Ramsur with a sharp eye, and the count is 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Charneco at first. Ramsur digging in. Greco's offering. Another one weakly tapped foul. Ramsur took off, but it's well foul. Count stays put, 1-2. Just over an hour into this game. We're on the top of the fourth. And game 2 of this D3 showcase. Again, the nightcap tonight will be Berry College, the Vikings, and Swarthmore. The nightcap of day 1 of the now 3-day D3 showcase. We were supposed to kick things off last night, but weather making that a little difficult. This one inside for ball 2. Ramsur with a sharp eye. Greco winds and fires. 2-2 runner feint going outside for ball 3. And that might have thrown Greco off of his rhythm as it worked to perfection. Charneco back in at first safely. But Greco, after he heard everyone screaming runner, looked to kind of panic last second and throw it outside for the catcher, Origo. Full count payoff pitch. Ramsur with a weak tapper towards first. That one's going to land and be picked up by Healy. tag for the out. Up to second goes Charnecko. So it'll be a 3U ground out for Ramseur. That is the second out as it moves the runner up on the weak tapped ground ball. So now Nick Lagus, the shortstop, digs in with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Lagus is 1 for 1, a hit by pitch and a stolen base today in the action against Susquehanna. First pitch on the way. Line drive. This one gets over the head of Healy, down the line in right, fair ball. Rounding it at home is Charnecko. Lagus digging for 2, and he gets there safely. RBI double for Nick Lagus, and Washington and Lee pushes their lead up to now 6-1 in this top of the 4th. RBI double for Lagus. He's got a multi-hit game, and Charnecko crosses the plate. 6-1 Generals with Andrew Thornton digging in. Washington and Lee taking the commanding 6-1 lead here in this top of the 4th. Thornton's got back-to-back at-bats with RBI singles. We'll see what he's able to find here against Greco. First pitch from the righty, ground ball towards short. To his right, Gagliardi fields a high throw, but in time, Healy able to come down with it and makes the catch for the out. A ground out ends the inning. Thornton is sat down for the first time today. He is now 2 for 3. An RBI double, though, from Nick Lagus sparks an extra little cushion for Washington and Lee. They lead 6-1. We'll go to the bottom half of the 4th. Cahill, Orego, and it'll be Himaleski batting third next time we come back. We'll be right back here on the Ballers Baseball Network live in Kannapolis. Jack Cahill stands in. First pitch swinging on the offering from the righty and Benner. This one is going to be caught out there in center field by French for the first out. One down now, 1 pitch, 1 out, an F8, and Orego will be the batter. So just like that, 1 down in this bottom half of the 4th. Orego struck out his first time up against John Benner, who's been on a bit of a hot streak. He's sat down in total his last 9 batters. Orego swings first pitch as well. Ground ball to third. Thornton has the ball, throws to first, and a high throw, a collision from the runner, but tag made by Carpenter, and the out is had. It's a 5-3 on the ground out, an errant throw, but a nice play by Carpenter makes it 2 outs now as Tyler Himaleski due up. 2 outs. We've seen 2 pitches in this bottom of the 4th. It's been a quick half inning here so far. Benner sat down 10 in a row. First pitch to Himaleski, low and inside for ball 1. So we won't see a 3-pitch half inning, but we will see a 1-0 count on Tyler Himaleski, who popped out his first time up to the second baseman in Larmore. 1-0. Breaking ball outside corner, 1-1, 82 miles an hour from John Benner. Benner's been sharp. Less than 50 pitches, 1 hit, 2 walks. 1-1 upstairs. 2-1 now on Tyler Himaleski. 3 strikeouts. 2-1, pitch on the way. Swinging a ground ball to short to his right. Lagis sets, and across to first he goes for the out. And that will do it. A 6-3 ground out finishes off the bottom of the 4th. Susquehanna hasn't had a base runner since the first inning as Benner settled in nicely here for the Generals. We'll go to the 5th. It'll be Turner, Carpenter, and DeWitt when we come back here on the Ballers Baseball Network. Game 2 of the D3 Showcase today here at Atrium Health Ballpark. To the 5th inning we go here at Atrium Health Ballpark. Washington and Lee and Susquehanna in Game 2 of this action here in Kannapolis. First pitch to John Turner finds his own from Greco. 0-1 on the Washington and Lee left fielder. Greco in for his 5th inning of work. There is an arm tossing for Susquehanna down the line in right. As a bunt laid down by Turner lands foul. 0-2. Susquehanna has the arm. Christian Rossi getting loose down the line in right. Washington and Lee as well, a righty tossing down the left field line. 0-2 on John Turner, who's 0 for 2. Greco winds and fires. Fastball just a touch low. Arrigo held it there for a second trying to frame it, but didn't move it up enough. So 1-2 on John Turner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss at the plate. He struck him out. The breaking ball fooled Turner, and Greco picks up another strikeout. That'll be the second punch out of Turner today. 1 down now in the top of the 5th, and digging in is Mike Carpenter. So Carpenter 0 for 2 digs in. A ground out and a fly out today for him. First pitch on the way is low for ball 1. Jack Greco has allowed his fair share of runs. 6 runs in 4 1/3 innings. 4 of those earned, though, in this matchup. 1-0, Carpenter swings, sharp grounder to short, eaten up by Gagliardi, and it heats him up as it gets loose in his center. It'll be an error charge to the shortstop, Gagliardi. Carpenter is going to reach on what is an E6, so second error of the day for Susquehanna. And now with 1 on and 1 out, it'll be Nathan DeWitt digging in for the Generals with a chance to add more to the insurance. So DeWitt with 1 on and 1 out. First pitch delivered is inside, and a diving stop by Arrigo. He holds on to it for ball 1. Of course, Atrium Health Ballpark here, home of the Kannapolis Cannonballers. Single A affiliate of the Chicago White Sox. 1-0 pitch. Outside corner for strike one. A beautifully placed off-speed pitch from Jack Greco. DeWitt is 0 for 0. He walked in his first time up to the plate in relief of the injured Sam Chase. Snap throw to first, not in time. Greco kept a sharp eye over there on Carpenter, but to no avail. Preston Larmore, 9-hole batter awaiting on deck. Top of the fifth, 6-1. Washington and Lee and Susquehanna square it off. Runner going on the pitch. This one inside of the plate. Snap throw to second, high and in the center. But good defense by Himaleski. Comes in and able to snag the ball. And it's up to second only goes Carpenter on what will be a stolen base. No further advancement for Carpenter. Good solid defense from Himaleski. Prevents the error being charged to Arrigo. Two balls and a strike. As Greco opts to keep a sharp eye over there on Carpenter, who's back in at second safely. Still just one hit on the board for Susquehanna. They've been quiet at the plate. 2-1 outside, 3-1. Washington and Lee with 6 hits and 6 runs. Three balls and a strike. Greco sets, pitch delivered. Swing and a miss, breaking ball. And DeWitt couldn't make contact, so now a full count. Greco with 3 punch outs. He struck out Turner twice. He's allowed 6 ground outs to just 3 flyouts. 3-2 pitch. Outside ball 4. 5th walk of the day for Jack Greco. The velo is there, but he's had a little bit of control issues today. 5 walks in now 4 1/3 innings for the righty, and now 2 on, 1 out for Preston Larmore. Larmore, the 9-hole batter, digs in. A walk and a ground into a double play. Snap throw to second. Did they get him? No. Close play. Carpenter taking a huge lead over there at second base. Able to dive back in safely. Preston Larmore. A walk and a ground into the double play today. Ground ball on the first pitch he sees. Shortstop makes the snag. Only 1 out will be had. Late throw to first, not in time. Fielder's choice. Carpenter will get to third, but up to second, DeWitt cannot get. 6-4 on that play for out number 2. Larmore reaches on what is a fielder's choice. So runners on the corners. Jonathan French gets a chance to bat and try to get on base for what will be the first time today. Again, French has not reached base yet. A line out, a sac bunt, and a ground out. 2 outs, leadoff batter for Washington and Lee at the plate. First pitch finds the zone, 0-1. A 1 count on Jonathan French. Runners on the corners and 2 outs. Washington and Lee looking to add more. Snap throw to first, not in time. Greco keeping an eye on the runner at first in Larmore. Larmore on the base paths. Last year he did pitch a little bit as well, did Larmore. Larmore has not had a stolen base in his career. He takes off there. Pitch was low, And Larmore is just going to trot his way to second. And there's his first career stolen base. Not even close. It's kind of funny. Everyone just kind of thought there was a frozen play. Instead, Larmore steals his first career base. 1-1. Bunt laid down by French. Greco will field, sets, and throw to first. Is in time, and that is a threat averted as Greco makes the play. A bunt laid down by French on what is a 1-3 putout. He tried to get the bunt down. Carpenter, had that been an errant play at first, would have scored that run. But a nice play from Greco, fielding his position well. That's why you do PFPs in spring training. 5 innings from Greco done. We'll go to the bottom half of the 5th. Susquehanna digging in. Healy, Shenman, and Rossi when we return here on the Ballers Baseball Network. Well, John Benner's been masterful. He's tossed 4 innings, allowed 1 run and 1 hit this entire day. He gets to face Joe Healy again. First pitch up and in for ball 1 on this bottom of the 5th. 6-1 Washington, and Lee is up on Susquehanna. 1-0 low and inside. Healy gets to see ball 2. There is an arm tossing as Benner probably won't last too much longer. He has faced a total of 16, now 17 batters. 2-0 to Healy. Outside, it's now 3-0. Healy flew out into right center field his last time up. That was the collision that took Sam Chase out of this game and put DeWitt in right. 3-0 finds the zone to get me over fastball. It's 3-1. And 3 balls and a strike on Joe Healy. Griffin Shenman, Tony Rossi to follow. 3-1 finds the zone in the inside corner. Count runs full. And John Benner has not allowed a base runner since the first inning. Susquehanna has been really pretty quiet since that first frame. 3-2 pitch. Swinging a fly ball right field, trailing towards the line. DeWitt gives chase on a knee. Does he make the catch? Yes, he does. A little trailing fly ball towards the line in right. And DeWitt able to get on a knee and make the catch for out number 1. So with 1 down, it'll be Griffin Shenman, second baseman, due up for Susquehanna. Benner's at 4 1/3 and has allowed no earned runs. This one's smoked in the gap in left center. Base knock for Shenman. Throw comes in from the center fielder French, and it's not in time. Griffin Shenman's got his first hit of the season. It's a first pitch double on a smoked line drive into left center. 1 on and 1 out. Top of the order, Tony Rossi due up for the Riverhawks. So Shenman able to get a hold of the pitch from Benner. It's just the second hit allowed by Benner today. 2 walks, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts. Pitch on the way from the righty Benner, just a touch outside for ball one. Rossi, a pair of ground outs, both to the left side of the infield. Shortstop in the first and the second to the third baseman. 1-0 to Rossi. Low one outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Tony Rossi, a big body. 6'5", 230 pounds from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Is Tony Rossi, the senior. 2-0 from Benner. Big swing and a big fly ball, a mile high to right. Back-tracking DeWitt on the warning track. Can't make the play. Ball lands on the warning track in the right field corner. And pulling up at third is going to be Shedman. Rossi will get credit for the double. He's got his first hit of the season. As Shedman, had he kind of tracked that ball well, probably would have been able to score easily on the play. Instead, it'll be runners at second and third. Back-to-back base hits for Susquehanna. Their first base runners since the first inning of this game. And now Owen Ayers will bat with 2 on, 1 out. And the Riverhawks rallying here in the bottom half of the 5th. Time called, and looks like the Washington and Lee Generals will have a mound visit. There is an arm tossing in left for the Generals. Benner is in. He's faced a total now of 19 batters. He's gone 5 flyouts, 5 groundouts, 3 strikeouts. He's allowed 3 hits, notably all doubles. Gagliardi in the first, and Shedman and Rossi here in this 5th. As Benner's day looks to be done, we'll have a new arm on the way for Washington and Lee. Back-to-back doubles. Sees Benner see his day come to an end. New arm on the way for the Generals. We'll take a break and get you the details when we come back here on the Ballers Baseball Network in the bottom of the 5th. 6-1 Washington and Lee. Well, John Benner's day is done. It's a new arm of the bump for the Washington and Lee Generals. 6 foot, 175-pound right-handed pitcher, a senior from Manhasset, New York, a product of Manhasset Secondary High School, and a business admin major at Washington and Lee. It's Andrew Flood taking over for the Generals on the bump. His first pitch of the day is a touch outside for ball 1 on Owen Ayers, the left fielder. 2 out for the Riverhawks with just 1 out in this bottom of the 5th. And Andrew Flood on in relief. 1-0 off the plate, ball 2 to Owen Ayers. First appearance of the season, naturally, for Andrew Flood. First game of the year for Washington and Lee. 23 career appearances. As now the senior Flood is on. Finds the zone for strike one. 5 appearances in the bump last year. Kind of struggled. 0-1. A 9.95 ERA. Allowed 12 runs over a little over 6 innings. This one is just off the plate for ball 3. 3-1 your count on Owen Ayers. Michael Gagliardi is on deck for Susquehanna. Flood in some trouble. 3-1. This one lined over the head of the third baseman. Thornton into left. Base hit. Rounding it at home is Shedman. Rossi pulls up at third. Throwing a second and out at second on the throw is the batter. Ayers tried to stretch it into a double, but a great throw from Turner in left nabs the runner headed for second. Ayers gets credit for the single and the RBI, but it's a 7-4 put out for out number 2. Rossi is at third, and now it is 6-2 as Shedman crosses the plate. And digging in is going to be Michael Gagliardi. Gagliardi swings first pitch, and he fouls it off his foot. That's got to hurt. 0-1 on a Michael Gagliardi. So the big third baseman Rossi's at third. Ayers gets credit for the single, but does not get credit for a double on a great defensive play in the field by Washington and Lee. A little more on Andrew Flood. His best year by far for Washington and Lee. 2023, 11 games, 0-0 with a 3.20 ERA. 0-1 is off the plate, and the count is 1-1. 2 saves for Flood, who's only got 1 career start in 23 appearances. So a guy that's mainly worked out of the bullpen for head coach Ted White. 1-1 is up and away to Michael Gagliardi for a 2-1 count. Last year in 5 appearances, 6 1/3 innings, 8 strikeouts, gave up 12 hits, 12 runs. 2-1 catches the corner. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. A double. Opponents batted .375 against Andrew Flood last season in his 5 appearances. 2-2. Breaking ball inside, cornering him up, got him looking, called strike 3. Andrew Flood's got his first punch out of the day, and it leaves a runner stranded for Susquehanna, as it is 1 run that crosses the plate that is charged to Benner, the starting pitcher for Washington and Lee. But coming in and doing his job is Andrew Flood, gets the strikeout, and that sends us into the top half of the 6th. We'll take a break and be right back here on the Ballers Baseball Network. 2 up for Washington and Lee when we come back. Charnecko, Ramsur, and Lagos here in Kannapolis. Well, we're now into the bullpens on both sides here in this matchup between Washington and Lee and Susquehanna as Christian Rossi takes over. No relation to Tony Rossi, the third baseman for Susquehanna. 6'3", 200-pound righty pitcher in for the Riverhawks. First pitch to Charnecko is off the plate for ball one. A 1-0 count on a Campbell Charnecko. 6'3", 200-pound righty from Valhalla, New York, business management major. And a three-time letter winner is Charnecko blasts the 1-0 up and out of here. And the solo shot to lead off the top of the sixth. Campbell Charnecko with a solo blast. And that makes it a total of now 7-2 for Washington and Lee. Charnecko with his second hit of the day. And that makes it a 7-2 game. Campbell Charnecko lifts his first home run of the season. And Washington and Lee in a commanding effort here throughout this game. Another home run for Charnecko, his 10th career homer. And his first, of course, of this season. First game of the season for Washington and Lee. Ramseur thought he'd have a home run shot there. Instead, it's foul, 0-1. Paul Ramseur has seen a fair share of the base paths today. A walk, a double, and a ground out. Pitch on the way from Rossi in the dirt, blocked by the catcher Arrigo for 1-1. So Charnecko, Baja blasts a home run into the left field berm. And the Generals are on the board in the top of the sixth. This one fouled off. Count is 1-2. Again, appreciate you tuning in and joining us today here on the YouTube stream. Dan Haloti on the call for you. Between Susquehanna and Washington and Lee. 1-2. This one poked into center field. Shallow, could be trouble. Hamileski runs in and on a full sprint makes the catch for the out. Ramseur out on the F8 for out number one. And now digging in is Nick Lagis, the shortstop for Washington and Lee. Again, pleasure to have you join us today for a matchup between these two sides. And these two sides not strangers to the D3 Showcase. They've played each of the last couple of years here in Kannapolis. This one outside for ball one. In fact, these two sides usually end up playing each other at some point in this D3 Showcase every year. This one on the outside corner. 1-1 now to Nick Lagis. Washington and Lee last year ended up playing Susquehanna. It was 11-6 was the final score. 1-1, check swing, and Lagis goes around for now a 1-2 count. Nick Lagis actually had a home run in the first inning of that game last year between these two sides here at this ballpark. 1-2. Just a touch outside. And Arrigo able to make the play. Getting dirty. Two balls and two strikes with one out. Top of the sixth, Washington and Lee leading 7-2 as a swing and a miss from Lagis on the 2-2. And Rossi has his first punch out of the day. Throw to first from the catcher. Arrigo confirms it. So a K2-3. There's out number two. First strikeout of the day for Rossi. And now Andrew Thornton, who has two RBI singles today, stands in for the Washington and Lee Generals. First pitch fouled off down the line in left for strike one. That one ended up down in the Washington and Lee dugout. 0-1 count with two outs. Pitch from Rossi. Just a touch outside, and the count is 1-1. Rossi in his 12th appearance on the bump for Susquehanna in his career. The senior from Valhalla, New York. 1-1. just a bit outside for ball 2. Had a bit of a rough season last year in 7 appearances, 0-1, a 22.3 ERA for Christian Rossi. 2-1. Just a touch outside, a 3-1 count on Andrew Thornton, who's been the man today for Washington and Lee. 2 RBI singles and a ground out to the shortstop. But a multi-hit game and 2 RBI singles. Producing 3-1. Skied in the air in a center. A mile high, probably higher than our skyscraper here in right field. And the catch made for the out. That is the 3rd out of this top of the 6th inning. Bottom 6 we go. Washington and Lee is sat down in order after a home run from Campbell Charnecko. It'll be Martucci, Cahill, and Arrego when we come back here to the Ballers Baseball Network live in Kannapolis. It is 7-2, Washington and Lee. Sam Martucci leads it off for Susquehanna in the bottom of the 6th inning. It is still Andrew Flood on the bump for the Generals. Martucci made a really nice catch down in right field today. Today at the plate, he is a total of 0 for 1 of the flyout. He swings and misses on the 1-0. It is 1-1. Martucci, Cahill, and Arrego. 2 up for Susquehanna. They're running out of time. They are trying to put together a nice little effort against Andrew Flood. This one off the plate, 2-1 on Sam Martucci. Senior from Oceanport, New Jersey. 2 balls and a strike, pitch on the way. This one low and inside, and the count runs to 3-1. Again in this 4-5-6 spot. No hits, 2 walks. A strikeout, 2 flyouts, and a groundout. 3-1 inside, ball 4. Martucci's on base for the first time today. Draws the leadoff free pass against Andrew Flood, who has now allowed a single, a walk, and a strikeout in the 3 batters he's faced. So now the boldest man in all of Kannapolis, Jack Cahill, will stand in. And I call him the boldest man in Kannapolis. He's playing the game bold today. First pitch in there for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. Jack Cahill, in about mid-30s weather, is playing with no batting gloves today. And the second that ball makes contact with a metal bat, that is going to sting. Swinging a foul tip into the mid of the catcher, Charnecko. The count 0-2. 0-2 on Cahill. Pitch on the way, runner going. Weak grounder towards short. Lagas with a clean play on to first in time for the out. Cahill is sat down on the 6-3. 1 down. It is productive, though. Does move the runner Martucci to second. So a runner in scoring position and 1 down. C.J. Arrigo will stand in for Susquehanna. C.J. Arrigo. Strikeout and a ground out today for the righty bat. Andrew Flood has been a Productive use so far in the bullpen. First pitch, grounder through and into right base hit. Runner held at third. Good throw back in from DeWitt. So Martucci can only get to third. CJ Arrego has a single, his first hit of the day, now 1 for 3. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Washington and Lee can still get out of this, but they're going to need some help from Tyler Himaleski, who stands in and does not want that to happen. Himaleski, a pop out and a ground out. Flood's first pitch is inside for ball 1. Flood's got the not quite royal blue, maybe just a shade lower. It's kind of a gray blue. Rawlings glove on the bump. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Count is 1-1. It's not a Carolina blue, but it's not quite a royal blue. Maybe a powder blue, that's the best way I can describe that. 1-1. Just a touch outside for a 2-1 count on Himaleski. It's a little too dark for a baby blue. Just from my vantage point. Again, Washington and Lee's colors are that royal blue and white. 2-1. Just a bit outside, didn't miss by much. 3-1. And we're at the 2-hour mark or so, approaching the 2-hour mark here in Kannapolis for this action in the D3 showcase. 3-1, grounder back up to the mound. Flood will field, underhands to first, throw home, and not in time. Martucci is going to slide in and make the catch. Slide in and make the play to score, I should say. So Himaleski is sat down on the 1-3. But it does produce an RBI as Martucci scores. Arrego up to second, excuse me. Looks like they're going to pinch run him. As time called, Arrego is told to go back to second base, as didn't know if he was getting pinch run for or whatnot, but he runs back and forth. It is 7-3. With 2 outs here. Joe Healy, the batter, digging in. Andrew Flood is now allowed to run. Healy, a pair of flyouts today. 1 to center, 1 to right. Can he complete the trifecta and fly to left? First pitch from Flood is outside. Count is 1-0. So an RBI for Tyler Himaleski. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball inside corner. 1-1. Joe Healy, the first baseman's made a couple of nice snags over at that first base bag today. Having to play a tough spot. 1-1. This one is a mile high and away over the head of Charneco. Up to third will go Arrego on what is most definitely the definition in the dictionary of a wild pitch. So now a 2-1 count on Joe Healy. Griffin Shenman, second baseman, awaiting on deck. Pitch on the way, this one outside for ball 3. Again, talked about it a little earlier today. Susquehanna, a lot of players from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York. A player from New Hampshire. Washington and Lee's actually got a lot of variance. Charneco has to field the wild pitch from Flood. Up to first is going to go Healy, as the wild pitch is not only going to let Healy reach on the walk, it's also going to let Arrego cross the plate for now what is a 7-4 ball game. Susquehanna slowly creeping their way back into it like a boogeyman in the middle of the night. Griffin Shenman digs in, 2 outs and a runner on. Nine-hole batter for Susquehanna due up, and Andrew Flood's going to get a visit. There is a lefty tossing in the pen for Washington and Lee. See who it is down there, as there is a lefty indeed tossing for the Generals. So Susquehanna's rallied for 3 runs, and what is currently their last 5 outs or so. They have a dangerous batter on deck in Tony Rossi, an All-American, who, again, we talked about it, batted over 400 last year, which is absolutely outrageous. Again, if you're an MLB All-Star, you're batting about 300 or so, maybe even down to about 275 or so. If you're above 275, you're a pretty good MLB player. Tony Rossi in the college season last year batted over 400. Washington and Lee is going to make a pitching change, and that is going to send us into a break. Third arm of the day for the Generals. We'll get you all the details when we come back here on the Ballers Baseball Network. Well, Washington and Lee has opted to go back into the bullpen and pull a new arm out of the pen. A 6'1" junior, a southpaw from Potomac, Maryland, an accounting major. It is Bob Burr on the bump now for the Generals. First pitch in there for a called strike. The count is 0-1 on Griffin Shenman. 2 outs here at the bottom of the 6th. Susquehanna's put up 3 runs in their last 5 outs or so. So Bob Burr in to try to negate some of that. This one finds his own, 0-2 now on Griffin Shenman. Burr's been a reliable arm. His 20th career appearance for the Washington and Lee Generals. 1-1 last year, a 2.51 ERA. This one tapped foul by Shenman, still 0-2. A 1-1 record, a 2.51 ERA, 20 appearances for Burr, all out of the bullpen. 14 1/3 innings pitched, 15 hits, 8 runs, 6 walks, and 15 strikeouts for the lefty Burr. 0-2. Pop up high and foul that'll end up in the seats. 0-2, still the count on Griffin Shenman. Tony Rossi is awaiting on deck for Susquehanna. Joey Healy is at first. 0-2 count, pitch on the way. This one's a fastball up and away, and the count is 1-2. And Andrew Flood, the second pitcher used by the Generals. Final line for him, inning and a third, 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, a strikeout. Pitch delivered. This one's a weak pop-up, shallow right. Chasing in on it, DeWitt. He makes the catch for the out. Had to cover a lot of ground, and he makes the grab on what is an F9 to complete this 6th inning. Well, that'll send us into the top of the 7th. We're in the back third of baseball now here in this game. That'll send us to the 7th. It will be Turner, Carpenter, and DeWitt when we come back here in the Ballers Baseball Network. Josh Turner wasting no time. Swings at the first pitch he sees. Ground ball to second. And a nice play by Shenman for out number 1. A great play over there against the runner. And John Turner, who, again, wasted no time, swung the first pitch he saw in this AB. 1 out just like that. And Mike Carpenter due up for the Washington and Lee Generals. Top 7, 7-4 your score. Game 2 of this D3 showcase here in Kannapolis. First pitch on the way from the righty in Rossi. It is just outside for ball 1. Senior righty Christian Rossi, again, an over 22 ERA last year. Really struggled, but has found his way here today. This one's in the zone for what is now a 1-1 count. So far today, 1 hit, 1 run, and an inning and a third. And now 6th batter of the game for Rossi. 1-1. This one fouled off. It's going to hit off the siding and land down in the hallway area of that Hendrick Kia dugout suite. Ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Rossi's pitch. Swing and a miss at the plate. He struck him out. Another punch out for Rossi. He gets his 2nd of the day. And Carpenter down on strikes for the first time. He's now 0 for 4. So 2 outs, and digging in is Nathan DeWitt. DeWitt has walked twice. No official at-bat for the lefty bat. First pitch off the plate for ball 1 on Nathan DeWitt. Again, an injury replacement for Sam Chase, who ended up getting injured on a collision out in right center field earlier today. 1-0 finds the zone, 1-1. If you're just tuning in, Sam Chase was the starting right fielder for Washington and Lee. Had a collision out in right center with their center fielder, Jonathan French. They ran right into each other, and Sam Chase actually had to get carted off, so hopefully he's okay. We'll see. Probably won't see him the rest of this weekend, but hopefully back in action soon. 2-1 to DeWitt, swung on and foul tipped, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. And I've been broadcasting for the Kannapolis Cannonballers for this will be my 4th season coming up here. I've only seen one other player get carted off on this field. 2-2 in the dirt. Blocked by the catcher in Origo for ball 3. Full count, 2 outs, top of the 7th. Washington and Lee up 7-4 with DeWitt at the plate. Pitch on the way from Rossi, well inside for ball 4. And DeWitt draws his 3rd walk of the day. A free pass is issued. Rossi has walked his first batter of his afternoon. And now Preston Larmore is going to dig in with 2 outs and 1 on for the Generals. Larmore, a busy day. A walk. He's grounded into a double play. First pitch, runner going. And in there safely at second is DeWitt with a stolen base. So already working quickly. DeWitt in at second base safely. 1-0 count at the plate as Larmore did not find a pitch to hit. So now a runner in scoring position for the double major Preston Larmore. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball, just a touch outside, and the count is 2-0. Again, if you're just joining us, Preston Larmore, the infielder, a two-way player, so he pitches and plays infield, and he's a double major in accounting and European and Russian history. 2-0 in there on the outside corner, 2-1. 2 wildly different topics. Accounting and European and Russian history. Guess you could say he's doing the math on Lenin and Stalin's work. 2-1. Low and outside for ball 3. 2 outs in the top of the 7th. 7-4 Washington and Lee over Susquehanna in game 2 of now a scheduled 9 games in this D3 showcase. 3 balls and a strike. Pitch on the way. Swung on, grounded towards third. Rossi makes the play and sidearms across. A stretch from Healy, and he makes the catch for the out. Nice play at the first base bag by Healy. Rossi with the errant throw, but Healy there to clean it up. And out number 3 is ahead. A 5-3 ground out for Larmore ends the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Time to stretch at Atrium Ballpark. We'll be right back here in Kannapolis. Bottom of the 7th coming your way. Top of the order for Susquehanna when we return. Top of the order for the Susquehanna Riverhawks. Tony Rossi digs in against the lefty Bob Burr. First pitch finds the zone, and the count is 0-1. Rossi digging in. Ayers and Gagliardi to follow for the Susquehanna Riverhawks. 0-1 pitch. Rossi takes inside corner. 0-2. Tony Rossi's been kept at bay. And one of the more dangerous hitters in Division III baseball. 1 for 3 with a double, but before that, Couple of weak grounders to the left side of the infield. 0-2, swing and a miss at the plate. He struck him out. Bob Burr with the off-speed pitch, and Rossi goes chasing. Saw the whites in his eyes, but he couldn't make contact. And Bob Burr picks up a strikeout, his first of the day. One down, and Owen Ayers is the batter to get in. Bob Burr, the junior from Potomac, Maryland, product of Kiski High School. First pitch is off the plate for ball one to the left fielder, Owen Ayers. Burr works exclusively from the stretch, breaking ball inside corner, and it's now even at a ball and a strike on Owen Ayers. Burr on the first base side of that rubber, trying to crowd the inside corner of the zone against Owen Ayers, who watches that one inside. It's 2-1. Ayers had a single last time up. That was against Flood. 2-1, up and away for ball three. Three balls and a strike with one out. Burr's pitch. Get me over. Fastball finds the lower corner, and the count runs full on Owen Ayers, the left fielder. Ayers from West Caldwell, New Jersey. Three-time letter winner for Susquehanna. 3-2, swing and a miss at the plate. He struck him out, and Bob Burr has faced three batters, struck out two of them, including Rossi and now Ayers for both outs here of this bottom of the seventh inning. Michael Gagliardi now due up here. The shortstop for the Susquehanna Riverhawks. Gagliardi will get the first pitch from the lefty inside, not on the plate. The count is 1-0. A double in the first inning for Gagliardi, a ground out in the third, and a strikeout looking back in the fifth against Flood. 1-0, swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch, 1-1. Gagliardi, a sophomore from Buchanan, New York, a product of Hendrick Hudson High School. Sophomore for Susquehanna. 1-1. Check swing, and he went around on it. Didn't really matter. Pretty much an immediate strike call. So a ball and two strikes on Gagliardi. Susquehanna running out of time. They have about 7 outs to play with, and they trail by a trio. 1-2, swing and a miss at the plate. He struck him out. Bob Burr comes in. Three batters faced and three strikeouts in the bottom of the seventh inning, all swinging, and that is it for the bottom of the seventh. Bob Burr with a trio of strikeouts, and that'll send us into the eighth. It'll be top of the order, French, Charnecko, and Ramser when we come back on the Ballers base. Top of the order, Jonathan French has a strike called on him. It's 0-1 on the leadoff batter for Washington and Lee. Charnecko and Remser to follow. Top of the 8th inning. It is 7-4, Washington and Lee. Bunt laid down by French. It's a beauty. Rossi was playing back. He won't even have a throw. It's in there, and like swimwear, Jonathan French has a leadoff bunt single. He's on. He's able to catch Rossi sleeping and was playing back a little bit. So now on to battle be Campbell Charnecko with one on and nobody out in this top of the 8th. Charnecko has already taken Christian Rossi deep once. Back on the throw from Rossi is French, able to get back in there safely. Campbell Charnecko, a multi-hit game. A single in the first, a solo homer in the 6th. Gave Washington and Lee a little bit of insurance. Susquehanna on the field as French takes off for second. Snap throw in to center, and French is going to be held at second. That's a good play in from Himaleski. So a stolen base for French. Charnecko with a 1-0 count. At the plate, that one was well outside. Campbell Charnecko might be the only player ever to wear number 42 in this ballpark. Again, 42, a pretty much industry-wide retired number for Jackie Robinson, but it's not retired at the college level. So players can wear 42 if they want. This one grounded to third. Rossi makes the play. Snap throw to first. Now a snap throw to third is high. Gets into foul ground. French already got into third. Now he's going to come around to score on the errant throw from the first baseman Healy. So French able to move up to third on the ground ball from Charnecko. A 5-3 ground out for the out. But then French scores on what is an E3 on the throw. So another error on the board for Susquehanna costs them another run. And now one out, nobody on base. Paul Remser will stand in for the Generals. So another error on the board for the Riverhawks. Make it now 3 on the day. 8 runs on 8 hits for Washington and Lee. Remser first pitch swinging, pops it up to short, and making the play with ease is Gagliardi. P6 in the book for Remser. He's got a double and a walk, but since then, a couple of ground outs, a fly out, and a pop out. So Nick Lagas now digs in with 2 outs and nobody on. Lagas a pair of hits, a single and a double. That RBI double in the 4th gave Washington and Lee a little extra room. That was the 5th run they've scored, so that would technically, if this was a hockey game, that would be the game-winning run. So a 1-0 count on Nick Lagas. Pitch on the way, swung on and lifted into center. Trailing towards left center, over is Himaleski, and under it he makes the catch for the out. It's a fly out into center for Nick Lagas. Well, now the Riverhawks have 6 outs to play with, and they trail by 4. It'll be Martucci, Cahill, and Arrego for the Riverhawks when we come back on the Ballers Baseball Network. Washington and Lee up now 8-4 in Game 2 of this D3 showcase. Sam Martucci digs in and he leads things off in this bottom of the 8th inning for Susquehanna. Bob Burr, how about it? He's struck out the last 3 batters he's faced. He's only faced a total of 4 batters. He's struck out 3 of them. He did get the fly out to end the 6th and then struck out Rossi Ayers. And Yagliardi in order. He gets ahead now on the 1-0. It's 1-1 on Sam Martucci. Cahill and Orrego to follow. Here in this bottom of the 8th inning, Martucci has flown out and walked. 1-1 is now 1-2. As Burr has been a lights-out lefty out of the pen for Washington and Lee. There is a righty tossing now for the Generals down the line. We'll see how that shapes out. 1-2, ring him up, got him looking, called strike 3. And 4 of his last 5 batters, Bob Burr has sat him down with a strikeout. 3 swinging, now 1 looking. And digging in is going to be Jack Cahill, the DH. Cahill stands in. Lefty and a righty matchup. Swing and a miss for 0-1. Matchup favors Cahill, but Bob Burr striking out his last 4 batters. I think he has the advantage. 0-1. Swinging a high, lifted foul ball. And the count runs to 0-2. Cahill a walk in the 1st, a fly out in the 4th, and a ground out in the 6th. Bob Burr has faced 5 batters, sat them all down. 0-2. Cahill swings a ground ball to short. Lagus makes the play on to first on a sidearm, and now 6 up, 6 down against Bob Burr. 6-3 on the ground out with 2 outs now on the bottom of the 8th. Susquehanna 4 outs to work with, and digging in is C.J. Orrego. Orrego a backwards K in the 1st, a ground out in the 4th, and a single in the 6th. Came around to score as one of those 2 runs in that 6th inning for Susquehanna. This one up and inside, and the count is 1-0. And that righty tossing for the Generals in left field. Likely a situation where it's a closer. This one weakly tapped towards the short, cut off by the 3rd baseman Thornton, and that might have cost him the out. As reaching safely as Orrego, it'll be an infield single. Lagus might have been able to make a clean play on it. Instead, it was cut off by Thornton. And now it's 1 on and 2 outs for Tyler Himaleski. So Bob Burr now has to deal with his first base runner of the day. Himaleski 0 for 3. He did produce an RBI back in the 6th inning. First pitch in and out of the glove of Charneco. And the count is 1-0. 1-0 count with 2 outs. Pitch on the way, big swing and a big miss. Himaleski went chasing, it's 1-1. Ball and a strike with 2 outs. Pitch on the way, breaking ball just a touch low. 2 balls and a strike. Joe Healy, first baseman, is on deck. Pitch on the way from Burr, just a touch outside. 2-1. Comes 3-1. Himaleski at the plate, trying to get on pace for the first time today. 3-1, swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs, he went chasing. 3-2. Looked like an upstairs changeup from Bob Burr. Susquehanna down to their final 4 outs. They'd like to see some more action in this bottom of the 8th. Full count. Burr looks, payoff pitch. Swing and a miss at the plate. He struck him out. Bob Burr with his 5th punch out in 2 1/3 innings of action. 5 strikeouts for the lefty Burr, and that sets Washington and Lee up for the 9th inning, where they can pick up some insurance and then slam the door shut on the Susquehanna Riverhawks. That'll send us into a break. To the 9th we go here in Kannapolis. We'll be right back on the Ballers Baseball Network live at Atrium Health Ballpark. Andrew Thornton, John Turner, and Michael Carpenter due up for the Washington and Lee Generals here in the top of the 9th inning. Looking to add some insurance here before they turn it over the bottom of the 9th, and they'll be 3 outs away from victory. As for Susquehanna, they are looking to find a way to get some offense going. They trail by 4. It's been a bit of rough sledding here in these later portions of the game, as Rossi's 0-1 runs inside, hits Thornton in the leg. That's gotta hurt. Thornton will reach base on the HBP in the scorebook. And now 1 on, nobody out. And due up is going to be John Turner. John Turner digs in 0 for 4. A pair of strikeouts, a fly out, and a ground out for Turner, the left fielder. Snap throw over to first is not in time. Turner, the left fielder, today for Washington and Lee. Junior from Marietta, Georgia. Again, Washington and Lee's roster has their fair share of local products here to Kannapolis / the Charlotte area. This one fouled off, 0-1. Washington and Lee has Gannon Anthony, freshman from Matthews, North Carolina, went to Weddington High School. For Washington and Lee, one of their freshmen from just down the road. 0-1 pitch in the back of Turner. Back-to-back hit by pitches. Rossi losing a little bit of handle. So back-to-back HBPs. And now with 2 on, nobody out, digging in is going to be Michael Carpenter. And the majority of players for Washington and Lee from Virginia, from Georgia. They do have a product of Wilmington, North Carolina. That is Oakley Rempel. Mike Carpenter due up. First baseman today for Washington and Lee. Stole a base back in the 5th after reaching on an error. Corners will play in. 2 on and nobody out in a bunt scenario. Carpenter will pull the bunt on the pitch from Rossi. First pitch, pulls it back. It's a strike call, 0-1. Obvious bunt scenario here for Mike Carpenter, who so far has won the facial hair of the Showcase Award for his headshot on our video board. Sweet stash, bro. 0-1, obvious bunt scenario. Rossi's going to flip it to second, and back in safely is Thornton. Got a little bit of the Paul Skeens look going, does Mike Carpenter. 0-1 count. Rossi getting some attention from his second baseman, Shenman. 0-1, bunt laid down, and it trickles just a touch foul. Didn't miss by much. Just a couple of inches is all he needed. 0-2 on Mike Carpenter. This top of the ninth, Washington and Lee ahead 8-4. Again, the nightcap tonight. 6 o'clock first pitch. It'll be Berry College against Swarthmore. And what should be the premier matchup of this D3 showcase. 0-2. Bunt laid down. It's a beauty. Catcher Arrigo will field. A throw to first is in time. An even better play by Arrigo to get the out at first. But it moves the runners up. Thornton to third. Turner to second. Carpenter out on the 2-3 for the first out. A sacrifice bunt moves the runners up, and now Nathan DeWitt digs in with a runner at second, a runner at third, and one out of the board. First pitch, fastball lower portions of the plate for strike one. DeWitt, a trio of walks in each plate appearance for him today. Infield playing in 0-1. Inside corner and a beauty. 0-2 now. Nathan DeWitt. Just after 5 o'clock here on the East Coast. And a great day of baseball here in the opening day of the D3 showcase here in Kannapolis. Closing in on Cannonballer season. 0-2 pitch. Swinging a hard hit fly ball center field, drailing towards left center. After it and stretching, Himaleski can't catch it. That'll drop and fall for some runs. Thornton scores. Here comes the runner behind him in Turner. And in at second is Nathan DeWitt with a 2 RBI double. That puts Washington and Lee ahead now 10-4 in this ninth inning. Washington and Lee is 1 run away from duplicating their efforts from last year's game against Susquehanna. And now it's the 9-hole batter, Preston Larmore. So DeWitt, who hadn't been on base thanks to anything but his eyes, has now used his sweet swing and found his way on base. As Larmore hits the foul ball, 0-1. Washington and Lee looking to start off their season on a high note. Again, this is the first game for both sides of their season. Quite a way to open their season by playing in beautiful Atrium Ballpark here in Kannapolis. 0-1. Swinging a hard hit fly ball high and deep left field, backtracking Ayers. He will reach and he can't make the catch. Ball falls into left. Up to third goes DeWitt. Up to second goes Larmore. Really can't give an error there, as it'll be a double for Larmore. Back-to-back doubles for Washington and Lee here in this top of the ninth inning. And now at the 2 runners in scoring position, Jonathan French, top of the order, digs in, 6th batter of the frame. Error is given, rather, to the left fielder in Ayers. Pitch finds the zone for 0-1 now on Jonathan French. So that's the 4th error of the day for Susquehanna. Still 1 out on the board, infield playing in. 0-1 count, pitch to French. Fly ball center field, and it's quickly falling. It does indeed drop, base hit. Scoring is DeWitt. Larmore's going to head for the plate. Throw in on the relay, not in time. And it's a 2 RBI single for the leadoff batter, Jonathan French. And Washington and Lee starting to pour it on here late. They have advanced their lead to 12-4 on a 2 RBI single by Jonathan French. 1 on, 1 out. And Campbell Charnecko looks to keep the good times rolling. Charnecko with a single and a home run today. It's Washington and Lee up now 12-4. This one skirts by the catcher. And Arrigo, and up to second goes French on the wild pitch. So now 4 runs allowed by Susquehanna's righty and Christian Rossi. Still just 1 out here in this top of the 9th. Pitch to Charnecko, swinging a hard ground ball to third. Rossi will hold the runner and throw to first in time. In and out of the glove of Healy, but he scoops it back up in time. So a 5-3 put out for the second out of this inning. Runner held at second. Again, Rossi able to get in front of the base path and hold him there before the flip on to first. So Paul Remser digs in, 8th batter of the frame. And Remser will stand in against Rossi. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball is a low and inside for ball 1. 1-0 count with 2 outs. Remser will stand in. Pitch delivered. Swinging a ground ball to second to his left. Shenman fields in onto first in time of the out. Remser is retired on a 4-3 ground out that'll strand a runner. But 4 runs cross the plate for Washington and Lee. They now have a commanding 12-4 lead. They need 3 outs to clinch victory here and start their season 1-0 here at the D3 Showcase. It'll be 8-9-1, Healy, Shenman, and Rossi when we come back here on the Ballers Baseball Network. Pitch in there for a called strike to Joe Healy. 8-9-1 due up for the Susquehanna Riverhawks here in the bottom of the 9th inning. It's an 8-run difference here between Washington and Lee and Susquehanna. 0-1 lifted into right, trailing after it. DeWitt fighting the sun. He makes the catch for the out. An F9 for the first out of this bottom of the 9th. 2 outs to go here for the Susquehanna Riverhawks. Griffin Shenman, the batter, and top of the order in Tony Rossi to follow here into this bottom of the 9th. Shenman will dig in. He had a double back in the 5th, a strikeout and a flyout here in this ball game against Washington and Lee. First pitch finds his zone. It's 0-1. Griffin Shenman has the double, the strikeout, and the flyout in today's action. This one up and away for ball 1 on Shenman. Still Bob Burr pitching. 5 strikeouts, 1 hit allowed. No runs of any sort from the lefty. 1-1 off the plate for ball 2. Again, the nightcap at about 6 o'clock tonight. Berry College and Swarthmore. And what's going to be a fun one between these two sides. 2-1. Breaking ball outside corner finds it. 2-2 on a Griffin Shenman. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, Tony Rossi, top of the order, awaiting. Burst set, 2-2. Ground ball to second to his left, Larmore. On to first, he goes in time of the out. And that is the second out of the inning. 1 out to go here in this bottom of the 9th inning. And all that stands between them, the Generals and a victory, is Tony Rossi. 1 for 4. A double, a couple of ground outs, and a strikeout. Burst set, first pitch to Rossi, swinging a sharp grounder to short. This should do it. Lagus fields on the first, a complete split at first by Carpenter. He makes the play, and that is all she wrote. Washington and Lee takes game 1 of their action this season. They go to 1-0 to start the year. Susquehanna to 0-1, 0-1 on their record. But what a great first game for these two sides, and a great second game of this D3 showcase, as the final score in this one is Washington and Lee 12 and Susquehanna 4. Bob Burr comes in late and shuts down Susquehanna, tosses a couple of no-run innings and a couple of shutout frames. 12 runs on 10 hits for Washington and Lee. A lot of really good showings from their offense today. On the other side, Susquehanna, just 6 hits, 4 errors. They left 6 runners on base. They had 3 doubles. Both sides had 3 doubles. 9 strikeouts, though, for Susquehanna. And that is the difference maker today, as these two sides do battle, and the Riverhawks end up on the wrong end of a Generals smackdown here in Game 2 of the D3 Showcase. So that'll about do it for this one. Dan Elodie saying thank you for